Alright, apologies. I meant to make a video last night, but I got home late. So, the first thing you want to do is just create a deck. As you can see, I got a bunch of stuff here. If I zoom in, create a deck. Anki like to denote subdecks. So, for example, you see how SGU material, term 4, then term 5, and then semi. Each double semicolon, or I guess colon, denotes a new deck underneath the one before it. So in your case, you could just make another one under MI that would be called Anking, and then week 1. And then if you clicked OK, you would get something like this. Right here. Nice. What you're going to want to do after that is click Browse. Now, I do have the lecture open up on the other side. And what I normally do is I look up kind of like, high level or terms that I know for sure they're going to test on, or that might encapsulate everything. Like if I look up meningitis, I'm going to get a bunch of stuff, no matter if it's Toxoplasma gondii, if it's Staph aureus. Like no matter what, if I type up meningitis, I'm probably going to get everything under meningitis. So what you're going to want to do is, like you saw here, and click Browse. You're going to look at this left-hand side. You're going to scroll down until you get to the tags section, just right here. And then you want to click step 1 V12, and then you're just going to click up here into the search bar. So this will look up everything under this tag for step 1. So you make sure you click space, and then I'm going to type in Toxoplasma gondii. What I normally click right here is I click the sort option deck, and I'll just do something like this, so that way all the MI stuff is up here. Okay, now that I see that there's a ton of different stuff underneath this that relate to Toxoplasma gondii. Now, you don't have to do this. I just find that I kind of like learning everything about each of the stuff as I go, because it makes it easier for me to put everything in context. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click this one. So this is the last one that's not under MI. It's actually under my NCRF deck from term 4. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to click the one at the bottom. And then I'm going to do Control D. And I do MI, Anking. So I just search up the deck essentially that I'm putting on it. That's why it helps to have just a simple naming scheme. So MI, the module, 2 colons, Anking, and then week 1. Bam. And then I can just press enter, I can hit move card. And then I'm going to look at the net scene. So the net scene I'm looking up is, let's see, neurocysticosis. I think I mispronounced that, but we're going to roll with it. Okay. Bam, we have a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to do this. MI, Anki. So what you just saw me do is I just clicked 1 and I did Control or Command A, and then Control or Command D, and then I moved everything over. You can look up stuff. They do have a step 2 deck, so I'm going to just do this real quick. Okay, everything that I looked up is still underneath that, so... Because there's some cards that are the step 1 and step 2, and then there's some cards that are only step 2. But the step 2 ones I find are pretty good. Next thing I'm going to look up is that Niagara fowleri, which is the parasitic meningoencephalitis. Which, fun fact, is from fresh water, and you can actually get that in your contact lens solution. So be careful. Ashlyn, speaking to you with your contacts. Okay, so I already have everything in my deck. Sweet. I'm going to look up another one. Let's see. You know, I'm just going to look up a high level. So the meningoencephalitis. Alright, you know what? In fact, I could just do encephalitis. And I'll get a bunch of stuff that either is or isn't MI. So everything, it turns out, is already under MI for me. Might not be the case for you, so you want to double check. I want to check to make sure that 2 deck doesn't have anything new. Cool. And then we're good to go. The same goes for the drugs. I'm gonna look at tetracyclines, or in this case, I'll just do cycling like this. Okay. So then we get a bunch of stuff. Let's see. This is step 2 deck. Ooh, we get a bunch of RHPS. Nice. And then I'm just gonna do Doom, Bam, MI, Anking, week 1. Sweet. And you kind of just do that for everything. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. You do have to be, I don't want to say like creative, but like I understand that if you look up a very specific term, you're gonna get very specific cards, even though that term might actually have another one that's like an umbrella term. So you gotta be careful that you're not too specific, otherwise you might not get what you want. Um, so that's the best thing to be mindful of. And look at myosin. So we have a lot of drugs with myosin. Okay. So, of course, right here. So you don't have to be specific. Like, I mean, are we probably going to talk about gonococcal conjunctivitis? Probably not. But I find that doing cards that we might not be learning at the moment or at all from SGU kind of helps me uh, put everything in perspective. So, and then if you get, if you're studying for the test and you're a little bit out of time, you can just suspend the stuff that you know is not going to be on there. So, kind of there's no lose-lose situation. You either learn something new that helps you with the overall understanding, or you just suspend it and move on. So, hope that helped. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it, honestly. Now, if you want a naming scheme, what you can do is you can just click the lower tags. I like physios. I think they're pretty good. So you can just kind of use this naming scheme. And there's a really cool add-on that you can get called Mass Deck Creation. And it lets you do something like this. Like I was actually using it, and you can just make a ton of decks like this. Deck 1, subdeck, deck 1, subdeck 2. And then if you just click OK, it's going to make them all. And then it is significantly faster than if you had to do it one at a time. So I did this and I made like 40 decks to try to organize stuff. Like for example, if we go to anatomy, I think we do Anking here. I was using the physio. So physio has a really good naming scheme, so I've just been doing that. And because they have similar tags with the other physio tags for Anking, it makes it easier for me to do something like this. If I can find it, if I just do this, I do cardio. I'm going to do step 1, anatomy, Anking, and then cardio like that, and then bam, move all the cards, and now they're all organized. So, makes it pretty easy. I've liked that so far. So, I suggest doing something like that, but ultimately it's up to you. Like, if you just want it all in some, weird, crazy thing, then you can do that as well. So, hope this helps.